Hey, hello guys, this is Karthik from executeautomation.com and this is part 5 of our BDD with Selenium and Specflow video series. And in this part, we're going to talk about POM and page navigation in BDD with Selenium and Specflow. So before watching this part, please try to watch part 4 since this part is going to be a continuation of that part. So let me first flip to Visual Studio. So in the last part, we discussed writing a simple feature file like this, and also we created some steps, and then we tried to execute the test and it got passed. But then we also told that in this part, we will try to work with a different page like EA page, and also we'll try to write the page navigation. So for understanding the concept of page navigation, please don't hesitate to visit youtube.com and then go to the playlist of our Selenium automation with C Sharp, and there you have a page navigation of POM in Selenium with C Sharp part 9 video of the video series. So just you can watch all these videos and then you can understand what page navigation is all about. So we're going to use this concept in our project as well. And this is a very important concept since in Specflow and BDD of Selenium, we will still use this concept a lot. So let's not waste our time since I have a lot of things to do. So what I'm going to do is we're going to create this EA page, some of the objects here. So what I'm going to do is I have already written the code for this. So I'm just going to copy paste it, which is as simple as this. So first I'm going to write the feature files. So for that, let me create a feature and then let's call this as EA feature, and then I'm going to get rid of this dummy text and I'm going to paste my features. Great. And as you can see, there are some two different color codings here, and the first color coding says that the step is already there, and the other color says that the step is not available. So even if you right click and go to code definition, it will say that no matching step definition found for this particular step. So we need to create the steps for this as well, right? Great. And the most important thing is we are missing the feature. Let me just write this feature and we'll say that in this feature we will test our form fill entry details. It's just a dummy text, so don't take this as a clear text. Great, I'm just going to save this guy. So it is super cool right now, and these steps are missing. So for that, I'm going to first create one more steps in our folder, and let's call this as EA steps. All right, so we have to write the steps for this right now. So I have already created some steps, so I'm just going to copy paste these guys. So as simple as this. Again, it misses the binding, so let's add the binding, and also it misses the create dynamic instance. So using TechTalk.specflow.assist. Great. And the page, see, now it's expecting the page, so the page is going to be a different guy altogether. So we'll talk about this page in a minute, since this page is coming from a different page, since it's a login page, so this guy is going to be different. Or let's write login page is equal to new login page. All right, we have initialized this, so now this issue will be gone. Great. And then let's go to the EA page features. Okay, so this is the feature, and now you can see that all the colors are gone, so everything is white right now, which means all the steps for this particular feature is binded. Great. And now what we're trying to do here is enter all the data in the user form of EA page. Given I have navigated to my application and I typed the username and password as this, and I have logged into my application, so I'm verifying whether I have logged into my application or not. And then when I click the login button, see, oh my god, how I wrote this code. So this should be right here. When I click the login button, it should be right here. And then we don't require this guy as well. So what I'm going to do is I don't think we require this guy. So I'm going to just delete this guy and I'm going to save this. So I'm saying is, so when I type the username and password, I click the login button, then I should see the EA page, whether it is fully loaded or not. So when I enter all the details to my EA page and click save, then I should see my details saved in the page or not. Great, but I think I have not written the implementation for these things. So if I go to the definition, you can see that I have not written the implementation for this. And also, if you can see my other implementations, like enter all the details in the EA page, I have not written the implementation for these as well. So we need to do that one as well. So what I'm going to do, so these steps we have already deleted. So I'm going to just delete this particular step. Great. And now what I'm going to do is, if you go to the EA page.cs file, we need to create the objects for the EA page, right? So for that, I have already written the code for this as well. So I'm just going to copy this code and I'm going to paste it right here. And now you can see all the implementations coming up. All right. All right. And what else? See, console. My God. Great. So all the implementation is right now is available right here. So for the EA page, what I'm doing is I'm initializing the page factory and I'm creating the objects for initial, first name, middle name, and btn save. These guys. And then I'm writing a method called is logged in. So whether if button save is displayed, then I'm saying is it logged in or not. So this is the only verification I got. So I'm just writing this. So it's a kind of dummy text. Maybe if you have a real application, you will see if a user is logged in, his name will be right here in the application, and you can verify whether the name is appearing in the particular page or not. But since we don't have these options in our website, I'm just verifying if the button save exists or it's displayed in my page or not. So if it is displayed, then it is logged in. If it doesn't, then I'm going to throw an exception saying no such element exception. Great. And then I have also written a method to fill details for initial, first name, middle name, and also clicking the button. And then I'm going to get the filled details using get attribute of value. So if I get the value out from this, then probably I should say that the text got passed, else the test got failed, right? And just verifying all the values whether they are same or not. Super cool. Hopefully this should work. I have not tested this code which I have written so far, so maybe this should work. So then I should see the EA page. So let's go to the definition, step definition. All right, and then I'm gonna say that page dot is logged in. So what is this page? So actually, if you can see here, we're going to face a problem right now. Since the page currently it's going to be of type login page. But the click login is going to return you the EA page. So only if you have this EA page, right, as a return type, you can perform the rest of operation. But the scenario right now is we don't have that option. So we have to somehow create a generic type or hard code the type and then return the rest of operation, which means what I should do is I should change its type. So how should I change the type? That's why we should introduce the concept called inheritance. So we should always use the concept of inheritance to perform these kinds of operation. So if this explanation doesn't make any sense or it seems to be a dump, so first let's try to create a base page by adding a base page.cs file. So what I'm going to do is this guy is going to be my base page, right? This is just a base type. And this page is just a dummy page and I don't have anything in this particular base page, but it's a class file. And I want all my login page and EA page to inherit from my base page like this. Similarly, the EA page should inherit from my base page. Now you can see that this login page and EA page are inheriting from same page type, base page, which means now we can do our easy page navigation. So what I'm trying to say here is, if I go to my login step.cs, we have actually created the page as login page of page is equal to new login page. So this instance of page, login page, will have only all the methods and properties of that particular page. So even if I try to return using this click login method, this page will not have the reference for this particular page, right? The EA page, because the EA page is of different type altogether. It is not of type login page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a property here, and then I'm going to create the property of type base page, and then I'm going to call this as current page. So now I will have a pointer of this page in this particular current page property, right? And then what I'm going to do is, instead of doing like this, like once it returns me, I'm going to save this to my current page. The current page is the base class for EA page as well, so that's why it is not throwing me any error right now, right? The current page will right now have all the details. I have written this, then I should see the EA page loaded, right? Which means now I should see the EA page. So EA page is altogether a different page, and the objects will be completely in a different class altogether. So now what I should do is I should somehow typecast the current page value to my current page, which is nothing but the EA page. So what I'm going to do is EA page, we know that it's going to be an EA page. So EA page is equal to current page, and we're going to typecast this. And then if you put dot here, you can see it brings me up all the methods which is available in the EA page class. So now there is a method called is logged in, which we wrote already. So I'm going to call this method. So this guy, if it is true, then it will return you the current page is logged in or not. So it is not returning anything, so let's delete this, of course. So this should be fine, right? So this is how you can work with your current page. Great. And the next thing is ea.feature. So here, the next operation we need to do is, when I enter all the details to my EA page and click save, so let's go to the definition. We have not written anything yet. So we are again going to call this guy. So right now the current page will not be available for this particular step. So what I should do is create this current page property right here, or to make it even more generic, we can write the current page property in a separate class file called properties collection, and then you can create this guy right here. So the property collection dot current page will now have the handle. So what I'm going to do is property collections dot current page, and this should be of type static. So and then I'm going to put it right like this. All right, so that now within this EA step I can again call this guy using property collection dot current page. Great. But of course the code that we are writing right now is not a very fantastic code, because for the long run this kind of code is not very well appreciated. So we should write in a different way, and that's what we're going to discuss in our next video of this video series, which is nothing but introducing the generics of C sharp in our concept, right? So this is fine, and then I'm going to call fill details, right? And when I enter all the details in the EA page and click save, so what is the feature? So I think we need to do one more thing. So when I enter all the details to the EA page and click save, so what are the details that we need to enter? We have not mentioned that yet, which is nothing but the initial, the first name, and the middle name. So we need to enter all of them. And then what is the initial is K, and the first name is going to be K, and the middle name, maybe the first name is Karthik, and the middle name is going to be K again. All right, so I'm going to save this. Then I should see the same details saved in my this one or not. So maybe this should be a correct one. So I'm going to use this guy once again. And now what will happen is I should go back and manually add the table right here. Right? Remember the table which we already discussed in our previous videos of the video series? So I'm going to call dynamic values is equal to table dot create dynamic instance, and then in the field details it will accept the initial and first name, and it accepts middle name. All right, so this should be fine. And similarly, to do the same thing even for this guy, so instead of field details I'm going to use get field details. Great. So oops, I'm sorry, maybe I should, yeah, I should copy this one as well. Great. I think now this should work fine. So now if I clean the solution and if I build this solution, now maybe if everything is good, then it should work fine. So I'm going to test explorer and then enter all the details in the user form of EA page, right? So I'm going to run this letter test. All right, the page is opened. All right, and now it should enter all the details. Yep, it entered. Did you see that? And I think yes, great. And all the details which it entered is also got passed. So it entered all the details and also it verified for the values that like initial, first name, and middle name has entered correctly or not. So everything is verified. So we have done like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 steps in our scenario with this simple test case that we wrote. And the most important thing is we have also used page object models along with page navigations using a very simple base page concept to navigate from one page to another to carry over the types. And also we performed the operation very easily using our page object model concept by creating all the objects in a different pages, right? And now you should be very clear. But there are still some more questions that you might have right now. Why is this kind of code, right? Is this still a restrictive code or is this a really good way of coding a particular test? I should say no, this is not the best way of coding because every time we cannot know that this is going to be login page, and because every time we don't know that we should cast this way because this kind of code maybe in future will be very hard to maintain. So in order for this code to be even more easily maintainable, we will write our code a little bit by modifying this code using generics, right? So that's it guys. Thank you very much for watching this video and have a great day.